Damson Idris to be the next Black Panther? What was the fuss about Meagan Good's dress? Keke Palmer reveals why the Jonathan Majors interview was scrapped, and Brad Pitt talks about his sobriety. All of that right after this. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents may or may not affect our daily lives. Listen, let's go over some celebrity news. News hasn't been too plentiful this weekend or this week, so I'm just going to have to give you what I got. And before I do that, you all make sure you all hit that like button. And also subscribe. Once you subscribe, you'll be open to a plethora of videos that I have completed. Currently, my celebrity legal news, I've been reviewing the court lawsuits of a couple of people. We just did Tyler Perry. I know that Fat Joe has one, but that one's 150 something pages. I don't think that I'm going to do a complete video on that because that'll probably be 3 or 4 hours, and your girl just doesn't have that kind of time. However, if that's something that you'd want to see, if you want to go over that we could possibly go over this weekend, let me know down in the comments. All right, let's continue. Listen, I hear that the Hollywood Unlocked has its annual award show, Impact Award show, where they bleh, that they honored those from last year that they felt like that made a big impact on celebrity, not celebrity, but entertainment and politics and all kinds of stuff like that. So we see that. But honey, I hear that there was a kerfluffle online about Meagan Good's dress. Now, what are they talking about? So let's go in here, get my glasses, and we're going to go over because she had a pretty dress. She had a beautiful dress on. It was let me see if they've got it. Hold on. Yes. So we'll do that. Let me remove this. And let's add this to the screen. We see this dress with her and her husband, Jonathan Majors. This is the dress that she wore to the Hollywood Lock Impact Awards. Pretty dressy. I think it has Swarovski crystals or cutouts or whatever. So it is one of those. It reminds me of like a futuristic type dress. It has the, and I don't know why the screen is jumping now. You all understand and know that I'm not on my regular computer. So we got to do what we got to do here. But this is the dress, and her and Jonathan Majors are. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, and he's trying to hide. I guess when she turned to the side, somewhere back up in here, it probably wasn't covering all of her tail. But again, the big kerfluffle is coming again from the Christian community, basically saying, "Oh, she wouldn't have wore this dress with the pastor," and I'm looking like, yes, she would have. It didn't matter what she wore when she was married, and I think we probably have to get out of that, trying to compare what she's doing then and compare to what she's doing now. Her and Devon Franklin hadn't been married going on 3 years now, and she's currently married to Jonathan Majors. So if Jonathan Majors is cool with her in that dress, we got to be cool too. But you know, the shade room, they were going through and people were having kerfluffles like, oh, she couldn't have worn that with the pastor, but it didn't matter what she wore. She could have worn a pair of jeans and a sweater, and you all would have said that the Christian community wasn't too fond of this lady while she was married to Devon Franklin. They felt like she wasn't a woman proper for him. But I just wanted to show the dress. This is what the kerfluffle was all about. And while I've got, we're talking about Jonathan Majors and Meagan Good. let's jump on over really quick. Let's talk about Keke Palmer because she finally addressed why the interview with Jonathan Majors that she had earlier this year in March, why was it pulled? And basically, it's what we all thought. We thought, she is under Wonderly, and that's where her podcast channel lies. And he's a controversial figure because of the fact that he was convicted of misdemeanor assault against his last girlfriend, Grace Jabari. So let's read what she says. Now, this is from written by Phoenix Haley, and this is with The Root. It says Keke Palmer is known for keeping it real. So when fans noticed one highly anticipated interview with the childhood star suddenly disappeared from the face of the earth, folks had questions. Now, Palmer has finally addressed what happened to her podcast episode with actor Jonathan Majors after all of his controversy. And he's not what we think. So apparently she did an interview with Angela Lee on Way Up with Angela Yee. And she hinted that she was down to do the interview. She did do the interview. She says it wasn't just her. She says it wasn't just me. She said she has partners. She says it was suggested, it was then suggested or decided that without throwing anybody under the bus. So in other words, she was very strongly, sounds like she was strongly against the canceling of the episode. We shouldn't put it out. In April, the Keep It Moving singer teased Major appearance on her podcast, Baby, This is Keke Palmer. At the time, Major was doing his media rounds for his film Magazine Dreams. He was also still reeling from ongoing controversy surrounding his past allegations, as was previously reported. She said, quote, he was interviewing and I felt like, hey, well, let's hear it. Palmer continued. To her, chatting with Majors was not a sign that she supported him. Palmer said that she was just doing her job. Just because you're interviewing somebody doesn't mean you agree with everything, which is true. And that is a good journalist will interview people who they don't agree with or their policies don't align with them or anything like that. And I think with this social media culture of cancel, 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 people are like, well, I don't want to hear from anything he's got to say. If we hadn't heard from Vic, we shouldn't hear from him. She's not in the public eye like that. So if she doesn't want to speak, then there's nothing that we can do to make her speak. He is in the public eye. If he wants to speak and try to share his story, then as a good journalist, she should do that. But apparently, she had a lot of pushback from that. She had a lot of pushback from it, and so she had to pull the episode. Now she claims that the episode is there, but what my understanding is they pulled the whole episode right off of her whole listing. So there is no way to get to that episode. But she's basically saying that she did the interview, she wanted to hear his side of the story, she wanted to be able to listen to that. Just because she had him on her platform doesn't mean that she agrees with or is responsible for his behaviors or actions. But again, in this social media age, people are saying, "Oh, well, we don't want a platform." Now, take for instance, if Sean Combs gets off and he is not, if he does not get if he's found not guilty of the RICO charge and he gets off, I am quite sure every major person, every social media person would want to interview this man, even though now that we hear some of the untoward things about him, but I still bet you'd want to interview him again. But shout out to Keke Palmer for coming out and letting us know what's going on and why the interview had been pulled, and it's basically her partners. So to continue, let's talk about Brad Pitt. Now, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris has a new movie coming out. It's about a Formula One racing movie, and it's supposed to be coming out pretty soon. And I think that they are doing press for it, if I'm not mistaken. But what I wanted to go over with Brad Pitt was the fact that him talking about his sobriety. Now, if you remember, oh my goodness, it's been a long time. Him and Angelina Jolie had dated for a long time. They had a few children together, and then they got married. And then once they got married, I don't think they stayed married 3 years, but it seemed like it took like 3 or 4 years for them to get divorced because those children that they have are now grown. All of the children are now grown, if I'm not mistaken. And what I mean, they're between the ages of 18 and 26. They're somewhere in those ages. And so one of the things that I remember with Angelina Jolie was talking about that his drinking and that his drinking had gotten out of control. And when his drinking was out of control, his temper was out of control to the point where he has had alienated not only Angelina, he has also alienated his children. Don't know what the status of their relationship is right now, but let's go over this People article where it says that Brad Pitt gets candid about attending Alcoholics Anonymous amid Angelina Jolie's split, and he said that I needed a rebooting. Now, this article again is from People and is written by Rachel McGrady. So let's go on. It says Brad Pitt is opening up about his experiences with Alcoholics Anonymous. The 61-year-old Oscar winner, Brad Pitt is 61 years old. Wow. Well, let's continue. The 61-year-old Oscar winner opened up about his experience on the Monday, June 23rd episode of The Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. The two actors also spoke about getting to know one another in an AA meeting. Pitt called AA an amazing thing, noting, I just thought it was just incredible. Men sharing their experience, their foibles, their missteps, their wants, their aches, and a lot of humor with it. I thought it was really special experience. Now, if Dax Shepard is who I think he is, he's married to what is her name? Oh, I can't think of her name, but he's married to her. He's had instances with alcohol and I think it's narcotics. And he's in AA and NA too. Shepard, who has been very open about his struggles with substance abuse and sobriety, wondered if Pitt was nervous to speak with him publicly after they met in AA, noting that the really heightened honesty and vulnerability of the situation. But Pitt assured them that he was quite at ease. Pitt also shared that he was a bit shy coming into the AA group. He also didn't hesitate to open up because of how low he was at the time. He says, I was pretty much on my knees and I was really open, he told Shepard. I was trying anything anyone threw at me, and it was a difficult time. I needed rebooting. I needed to wake the F up in some areas, and it just meant a lot to me. So it's wonderful to hear that he has gone through AA. He's still going through AA. I know that he did some rehab. So it's really good to know that he is really working on himself and getting himself together. I hope that he can get his relationship with his children back on track because I know that that was something that hurt him pretty bad because his children had kind of pulled away from him. But he's in therapy, and so he's dating again. So let's shout out to Brad Pitt for his sobriety. And speaking of, let's go ahead and move on, and we will end this up as soon as we can. Let's talk about Damson Idris. Now, what is going on with Damson Idris, we say? Over the weekend, we've heard a lot or little rumblings. There's been some spoiler sites that are saying that Damson Idris has been in talks with Marvel to become the new Black Panther. Now, don't know how he is fitting in, if he is going to be a variant of Black Panther to fit in the Russo's brothers film with Iron Man, Doctor Doom. Don't know how he's fitting in regards to that. Don't know if he is in talks with Ryan Coogler to be the Black Panther in the Ryan Coogler version of it. Not really sure where he's standing, but he has been coy and he has pretty much confirmed that he has talked with Marvel, uh, and that he is going to play Black Panther, but to what iteration of Black Panther he is going to play, we are not sure. Again, we're not sure if he is going to play Black Panther in Ryan Coogler's iteration of it, because remember, uh, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, they literally killed off a character that was older than Chadwick Boseman, but they killed that character off. They gave us a really emotional response instead of giving us a logical response and sit down and kind of think about it. Now, they had postponed the second Black Panther, which is Wakanda Forever, for a couple of years. And in my opinion, they had enough time to be able to find an actor to go ahead and play for Chadwick, but that wasn't done. Again, not only with Ryan Coogler, but with the studio heads, with Kevin Feige and all those people up top above him. Everyone was pretty much okay with killing off this character, even though that this character between two franchise has made you over $1 billion, almost $2 billion. So it's an interesting thing. I don't think that they're doing it or bringing him back for Ryan Coogler. I think it's basically for the Russo brothers, and because the Russo brothers are interested in a variant of or interested in Black Panther being in their movie that they are currently in production with. This is where the information, because the recast T'Challa gang has been out here really truly making sure that people understand that the character is needed. T'Challa is needed in the MCU. However, again, with the climate, the social climate and the political climate, and that subsection of the Marvel fan base that don't like to see uh, Black folks, other minorities, and women in leading roles, and they are the loudest group out here so far. Marvel has acquiesced to that group, and so, but it is nice to see that Black Panther is getting another life to it. I know that Ryan Coogler is working on his iteration of it. Don't know exactly what it's going to be or how it's going to come out, because again, the character T'Challa is not there, and we have his son, so Toussaint. So I don't know if they're going to fast track and age him up so that Damson Idris is going to be T'Challa, the son of T'Challa, or if they're going to do a soft reboot and do T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. They could do a soft reboot. They had a lot of ways to figure that out back in the day, but they didn't take those ways, and we're not just going to go over and rehash them. But again, he's hinted that he has talked with Marvel, and it seems like there he is quite interested, and he may be taking on the role of Black Panther. But we will see. He's still doing Children of Blood. Was it Children of Blood and Bone? He's still filming that. So after that is filmed, we'll see. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, what do y'all think about Damson Idris being Black Panther? You think that's a good fit? I liked Aldous Hodge, but I'm not mad at Damson Idris either way. And so, what do you think about Brad Pitt and his road to sobriety? We want to congratulate him and let him give him all the because I just love me some Brad Pitt. So we're going to make sure that he give him all the love and everything that he needs to do so that he can continue in his road to sobriety. And also, what do you think about Keke Palmer finally giving her explanation as to why the Jonathan Majors episode had been canceled? Let me know down in the comments. And lastly, what are y'all thinking about this kerfluffle over there on the Shade Room about Meagan Good's dress? Again, let me know down in the comments. All right, people. We do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye bye.